How do you improve your stitch length consistency? All right, your stitch length with free motion quilting is not always going to be 100% accurate. You're not going to be able to make exactly 10 stitches per inch or even 12 stitches, 8, whatever. You just need to be aware of what you're doing. So when learning how to create your stitches, when I teach my students, I tell them start out very slow and listen to your machine. So we're going to start out slow, and I'm listening to my machine, and I'm moving my fabric at a nice even pace. My machine sounds really, really well. If you listen to my machine, you can hear the rhythm is pretty much the same as I'm stitching. Therefore, when the rhythm is pretty much the same and I'm moving my quilt nice and evenly at the same pace, my stitches are going to be very consistent. Now, let me stop for a minute, and I want to show you. I want to clip this thread and get it out of my way. Thread tails kind of bug me a little bit. Okay, so if I'm listening to my machine, my needle's going up and down, let me stitch here. All right, so if my needle's going fast, I want to move my quilt faster. If my needle's moving slow, I'm going to move my quilt slower. And that's how we get our stitch consistency, by listening to our machine and moving our quilt to the pace of our machine. So I'm going to just show you something that you shouldn't do. So if we are quilting like this, our foot's going real fast, but we're barely moving our machine, we have got little teeny tiny stitches right here. I mean, they are so tiny, it's almost like they're cutting into the fabric. Now, tiny stitches are fine if you're doing micro stippling, and that's a whole different technique. But just to be able to get your quilt quilted, so if your needle's going fast, you want to be able to move your quilt faster. If your needle slows down, you want to move your quilt top slower. And listen to that machine, because you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear fast, slow, fast, slow. Because what happens there, and I don't know if you can see it, but I've got tiny stitches, large stitches, tiny stitches, large stitches. So you always want to listen to your machine, move your fabric, your quilt top, even with the speed of the needle. I hope that makes sense to you, and all you have to do is practice, 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 and it'll even make more sense to you as you learn more and practice more.